Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first video you've ever seen of mine, hello, my name is Lonyea, and in today's video we are going to be talking about the new Morphe Foundation. So this foundation came out about a month ago, I believe, but I personally didn't pick it up because there were just so many shades. Excuse me, I just spit all over myself. So there were so many shades, which I applaud them as a brand for inclusivity and actually releasing foundations that could match a wide range of people, because, or skin tones I should say rather than people, because I feel like when there's less or smaller amounts, it's just off-putting. And for me personally, it's just like I am a reviewer, I am a YouTuber, I'm still going to buy the product because it's hyped up or people want to see it or whatever it may be, but I know for you as a consumer, you're probably not going to purchase anything else from that brand anymore because of that. So just once again, a round of applause for Morphe for doing so. But there was just so many shades, I just didn't know where to start. I didn't know where to look. There weren't enough swatches on deeper, darker skin tones for me to personally be like, okay, let me buy this foundation. I'm sure that this shade is my shade. So today I went to Ulta because I got some drying drops for, you know, pimples and things like that I ran out of, and there was a huge display right when I first walked in. I wish I'd thought to vlog it, but it was really cool. The entire first wall where NYX used to be in my store is now all Morphe. And then the other side is Makeup Revolution, which is just so amazing. It's quite amazing how this brand started from little old nothing to just this huge brand. So there was a display, and I saw the foundation, so I'm like, 16 bucks. I think it's 16 bucks. Let me see, my receipt is in here. Yeah, 16. It's $18, but I had a coupon, so 18 bucks for a foundation. I was like, that's not bad, let me try it out. So I have a bunch of swatches, and you guys can still see the residue, and I was using a napkin that I saw there, but I didn't wash my hands specifically because I wanted to show you guys that it left foundation marks on my hand, and I was just like, I've never had a foundation stain my hand this bad, but I mean, unless I'm wearing, doing makeup, client makeup, but I was like, okay. So it did dry down pretty quickly. I did want to mention that, but there's nothing on my face. I'm actually going to go wash my hands really quick, and then we will get started with the review process. I did also pick up the concealers. There was a nice array of them, but I'm in between shades, so I had to buy 2 of them, but thank the Lord they're only 9 bucks, so it didn't break the bank or anything like that. And then I also repurchased my continuous setting mist because this stuff is good, and I would definitely be using this on my wedding day. Y'all, this bun on the top of my head is so tight, I borderline have a headache. However, the shade in the foundation that I picked up is the shade 4.110. So there's levels. There's level 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And level 4, I knew I would be level 4, so I started out at level 4.3, and it was a little light. I love the undertone. It was more of a neutral undertone, which I prefer personally for myself, a more neutral undertone as opposed to golden or warm or cool, anything like that. I prefer cool over warm. I just have a fear of looking like an Oompa Loompa, which some foundations do. However, this foundation does have a more neutral undertone. So I was looking for a neutral undertone, and I just continued to go up the levels. So 4.3 didn't work, so I tried 4.6, tried 4.5, way too warm. So I'm like 4.8, way too warm. 4.100, I was like, this might be a little dark. It was just too warm. And then I looked at 4.110, and the tester on the actual display was gone, and I'm like, okay, I need to find this motherfucking tester. So I found the tester, I swatched it, and I ended up swatching it on my cheek, and I blended it out over here, and I was like, that might be my shade. I think that's my shade. So this is the shade that I got. Let me turn off my volume. I'm just going to show you guys. It is Squeezy Tube, which does make great for traveling and things like that. But if you don't travel very often, it's going to be nice and compact, so you can stick it in drawers, things like that. Personally for me, I like foundations that can kind of stand up so I can display them on my little acrylic drawers. Just a personal preference. But that is the shade that I got in the foundation. I'm going to go ahead and prime my skin. I'm going to use this No Problem primer. It's a smooth and pore covering primer. Looks like this. This is what I'm going to apply all over my face to prime for foundation. So as I mentioned, also, I haven't watched any reviews on this foundation. So this is literally like a first impression. So it does dry down pretty quickly. So I am going to squeeze some. Oh, there is a little cover, which is great because you know people haven't opened this yet. But I'm going to just put it on the back of my hand. And I'm just going to go ahead and swatch just a swatch so you guys can kind of see. See, that looks pretty good. Like when I swatched that on my face, I was like, okay, I can work with that. So I'm going to use the Morphe Sponge. This is a sponge that they sent to me like 6 months ago, and it's my favorite sponge. I rebought the sponge at Ulta, and it's not as like bouncy, squishy. It's more stiff, so I don't know. So this is my absolute favorite. But we're just gonna... Oh yes, look at this shade, y'all. Look at this shade. If this isn't like the most spot-on foundation shade that I've ever tried on my channel, I don't know what is. It is a little warm for me. Like, it's a little warm, but it's not like crazily warm. I'm gonna do 1/2 and we're gonna look at the difference. So far so good. It doesn't like make for hard blending. It does have a smell, so it smells like foundation. That doesn't bother me personally. So this is the foundation with 1/2 of it on, and it looks pretty good. Like I'm pretty amazed. Like it's pretty, y'all. It looks really good on the skin. And remember, I told you guys, your foundation will only look as good as your skin underneath. I have a pretty intense skin regime, so I take care of my skin. I really make sure that I cleanse it, but as you guys can see, I still have dark spots and things like that, and this foundation just takes it to the next notch. It looks very natural. It doesn't feel heavy, which I appreciate, or anything like that. Okay, Morphe, I see what y'all have done. Like, this might be my new favorite foundation. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it on the other side as well. But it wasn't, like, really hard to blend out. You don't need, like, a crap ton of foundation or anything. Like, I am very happy with this foundation, you guys. It's not a thick consistency, so you guys know Kat Von D Lock-It Tattoo Foundation is one of my favorite foundations to use. It is a little thicker in consistency. This one is not. So I am actually really liking this foundation. Is this going to be my new favorite drugstore foundation? Because it's pretty hard for me to find a drugstore foundation that I feel like matches my skin tone, that doesn't make me look Oompa Loompa-y. That's why I don't wear the Maybelline Fit Me anymore, or any of the Maybelline foundations. I don't really wear them anymore because they just make me look really orange. But you guys, girl, this might be your girl's new favorite foundation. I'm loving it. I'm excited, you guys. I'm excited. I'm loving it. I'm feeling it. I'm into it. So the two concealer shades that I got. And once again, in concealers, I like a more neutral concealer. As you guys know, my ColourPop concealers, I use D40, D42, and D46. I like a neutral concealer. And most concealers are a little warm for me, which is why I don't use them anymore. This concealer might be a little thick for me. I'm not into the thick concealers anymore. I like them more lightweight. But we're going to try it out. So, C415. I just threw up in my mouth a little, you guys. C415 is a neutral base concealer, and I'm going to swatch it on the back of my hand so you guys can see the difference. This is what the concealer looks like. And what I like about it is that it has the double-sided applicator. I love the double-sided applicator. I hate the doe-footed applicator. I'll use them, obviously, if it's one of my favorite concealers, but the double-sided applicator, I just feel like I get more use, more product out of. But this is C415. Now, I wear makeup, and I wear like a really bright under eye concealer, which is why I went as low as 415. But I got the next one up, which was 435. I don't think there was a 425, or I didn't pay attention to it or something. But I got 435, which is more of a warm concealer. Looks like this, and this one is the one that I would use. God damn, I can't even, oh, okay. Excuse my language. But this one is a little deeper and darker, which I'm going to use as more of a base underneath of the concealer. I could probably get away with this one too, but as I'm oxidizing, I'm looking a little orange, y'all. Is it just me? Maybe it's because the rest of my face ain't done. I look good in person, okay? Okay. So I'm going to take 435. Yeah, 435, and I'm just going to take it under the eye. Does also have that same smell. This concealer is not bad. I don't know if it's as lightweight as I like it, but it's not bad. Now I'm going to take 415 because this is my brightening, my really bright under eye. And you know what? Because I am that girl, I might just use 415. Okay, so this reminds me of, 415 reminds me of D40 and ColourPop, which is the bright concealer. Let me swatch it. There's none in here, but. So D40 and ColourPop is above, and this is C50 or C415 from Morphe, and I think this shade is similar to D46 from ColourPop. So, like I have multiple shades in ColourPop, I have multiple shades in this concealer. Ooh, this is pretty thick. Ooh, okay, so you don't need a lot of this, and I hate that it's so thick because I really wanted this to be like my new favorite concealer. Pretty thick, pretty pasty. It's looking good so far. I still have to rebuy my Fenty stuff because I have wrong shades in that foundation and concealer still. So, but this concealer is nice and I don't want to say pasty, but pretty thick. So you definitely don't want to like sit and chit chat like I just did, because it will dry on you, and you want to make sure that you don't let it settle into the skin, because then it'll be difficult to blend. So you definitely want to make sure that you blend this out as like quickly and as efficiently as you can, without letting it settle into fine lines or into your skin, because it's like you have to work fast with this product or else it'll just sit and not blend out. I don't like that. And blend it out nicely, but I think next time I might just use C415 by itself, because I do like that bright under eye. But it did blend out nicely, and it does work with the foundation well. So I'm going to go ahead and set that. I'm going to use my Beauty Bakerie No Flour powder and just set the under eye and set everywhere where I applied this. And I like this powder because it's nice and fine. This is in the shade Banana. It is pretty light. So if you don't like a bright under eye, I would suggest the Sacha Buttercup. That's my favorite. I use the Sacha Buttercup underneath of this when I don't want my under eye to be very bright. So like on my wedding day, I'll mix the two of these because I don't want a super bright under eye like I have right now. and I don't want to like stand out that much. I don't want to be super Instagram-y. But it is setting pretty nicely. I think this is going to be a new favorite of mine, you guys. And it's affordable. That's what I like about it. I think that's why I really like it. It's affordable and it's not breaking the bank. It's 18 bucks and 19 bucks. Like, that's pretty darn good. So I'm going to go ahead and do my eyebrows, you know, do the rest of my face and stuff like that. And I'll be back for final thoughts. Okay, you guys, so I am pretty much completed with my face. I used my same contour palette that I always use, which is the Black Radiance contour palette. And then I use the Black Radiance blush as well and my Marc Jacobs highlighter. And I just went ahead and sprayed my face with the Morphe setting spray. I love this stuff so much. You could just never have too much of it. It's just so fine, and that's what I love about it, because it doesn't, like, if I'm wearing matte eyeshadows, it's not like it doesn't spit out sputtles of spray like if I use my Mario Badescu spray. So I just love it. It's really pretty. And final thoughts on this foundation and concealer, like, y'all, it did that. Like, look at this foundation. Like, face looks flawless, everything looks flawless. Like, I'm happy with it. Would I recommend this 100%, especially if you love matte full coverage foundations. I want to make sure that I reiterate that this foundation is matte and it is full coverage. Can you sheer it out? Of course. If you have like an oil, or you just take a little bit on the face or on the back of your hand and apply it on the face, yes, you can sheer it out to a minimum or medium to light coverage foundation, but it is full coverage. So I love it. It covered everything. It is the perfect shade for my skin tone. This might actually be my wedding foundation now because I'm that happy with it. Am I happy that I have to mix two concealers? No. But do I have to mix two concealers? Also no. It's all a preference. Like I mentioned, my shade in C415 is the same exact shade that I use for my under eye and my brow bone from ColourPop, which is dark 40. So these are the same. The only thing is I think this concealer is about $6 and this one is $8. So there is a $2 difference, but you can find both of them at Ulta now. And then the shade C435 is the same shade as dark 46 in ColourPop. So if you are anywhere between my shade, or you like to use the same shades that I use as a reference or anything like that, then dark 35 would probably look better on most people because it is a little more skin tone, flesh tone-ish, a little less bright under eye highlight. But I love me a bright highlight. But this face is gorgeous. This look is gorgeous. This foundation's gorgeous. The concealer is gorgeous. The only thing I will note with the concealer is it is a little thick and a little pasty for my liking. Will I use this foundation with my ColourPop concealer? Absolutely. Let me just say that. Will I reach for this over my ColourPop concealer? Absolutely not. I'm ride or die ColourPop. That is the one concealer that I use to reference any other concealer. That is like my baseline for like my experimentation. But it's a nice concealer if you like thicker, pastier concealers. If you like a little more full coverage. Not my cup of tea. It does dry pretty fast, but it's not the most absolute worst concealer ever. I quite enjoy it, but it's not replacing my ColourPop. I have yet to find a concealer in a concealer shade range that can replace my ColourPop concealer. Like, girl, it's not gonna happen. So overall, I give this foundation a 9 out of 10. The only reason I would give it a 10 out of 10 is because I haven't seen how it wears yet. And there's a lot of shades, so it's going to be really hard for you to find a foundation online if it's not in your store. But if you are anything close to my skin tone, 4.110 is your shade, and I'll make sure that I list that down below in the description box so that way you guys know the shade reference. And a concealer, I would give the concealer a 7 out of 10 just because of it drying super fast, it being really pasty cakey, and it being a little thick. So those are the 3 points that I would knock off for this concealer. But price point is great, color selection is great, all of that, it's really great. And of course, If you haven't bought this yet, what are you doing? And also, I'm not going to do an eye look on this. This is just brown eyeshadow on the lid, and I just put a transition shade in the crease, popped on lashes, and then I just put a black liner in the waterline, put black eyeshadow underneath, and then blended it out with the same brown on the top, popped it in a corner. And then the lip, I put Unveil. It's the Fenty lip Stunna lip paint, and then I just put my Neat Freak gloss from ColourPop. This is the Shayla collab. I just put this over the top to make it glossy, because when my eyes are matte, I don't like for my lips to be matte because that makes me look really flat in my personal opinion. But when I added the gloss, it just really made this look. Alright, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I love you all so much. I really, really, really appreciate you guys. And I will see you guys in tomorrow's video. Let me know if you'll be buying this foundation, if you purchase this foundation, what your thoughts and opinions are on this foundation. And yeah, I love you. Bye, guys.